decided that I'm going to actively assume that every thin person is fatphobic until proven otherwise. I feel really safe in making this assumption based off of 29 years of lived experience. I've also decided that I will not be fostering relationships with skinny people until they have done something to demonstrate that they are in fact an ally to fat people. I will not be accepting questions at this time.
I don't have any questions, but I do have a comment. You are going to have a really hard time finding friends, skinny or fat, that abide by your strange rules of what it is to be an ally to fat people, or that agree with your definition of fat phobia. But I wish you the best of luck in trying to create as solid of an echo chamber as you possibly can.
You know what I'm tired of? I'm tired of good fatty, bad fatty. You know what I mean? People do so much, even fat people, especially fat people, to defend their right to be fat. It starts with, oh, I eat well and exercise and my blood panels are good. But then there's also this whole other layer, which is well, some people are fat because they have a disability, and oh, well, most of weight is based off of genetics and not actually lifestyle choices, and oh, well, I've been fat my whole life. And I've even made videos like this, but I've realized, even if a lot of that stuff is true, and a lot of that stuff is necessary to get thin people on board, it's also this really, dumb game that we're playing. Thin people are never asked to justify why they're thin. They're never asked to explain their body size. So why are we forcing ourselves to do it all the time?
Fat people are asked to justify why they're fat because being fat isn't a natural state that humans should be in. In the same way that if someone has a missing limb, they are out of the ordinary and people will question why that is the case. I'm also not advocating for you to randomly ask strangers why they're missing limbs. I'm just saying we recognize it as something that is caused by external factors for the most part, not genetics. And most people are not fat because of disabilities or genetics. They are fat because they have an unhealthy relationship with food. I can at least appreciate that this person somewhat acknowledges that some people are fat for reasons other than genetics, but they still miss the mark.
I have more beef with the normalizing normal bodies trend. Again, this is the trend where there's very thin people hunching over and being like, hey, I have fat rolls too. Let's break down their message for a second and look at the inverse of it also. They're saying, I pose and style my body to fit in with our beauty standard, but sometimes I look fat. Or their version of fat, or fatter than normal for them. But what they're also showing is that their body that does sometimes have those features can also fit flawlessly into our beauty standard. But they're claiming to do this in the name of body positivity, right? But which image do they profit off of? The posed or the relaxed? The cinched or the hanging out? If you want to break beauty standards, then you need to fucking mean it. This is just for clout.
I do think some of the motives behind this trend can be selfish, but you can't fault someone for profiting off of a beauty standard that others might not have, as long as they're honest about the means that they use to get their beauty. AKA, if they use filters or fillers or get surgery, then they should admit that. For example, most women do better on social media when they wear makeup, which is why most women do it, but you shouldn't get mad at them for that. And you also can't get mad at them for taking it off once in a while to either make a statement or just to be more comfortable. And some women find these normalized normal body trends useful because social media can be really artificial and it's nice to see things that are not retouched. I've said it before, if a trend doesn't apply to you and your life, then move on. And this is one of them.
I'm gonna take my glasses off for this. Listen, if you're in a speech class, you're doing a speech, you're doing a report, stop doing it on the obesity epidemic. There is no obesity epidemic. Fat people have been fat forever. Since the world was a world, there have been fat people. Okay? Okay. Nobody needs to listen to your unsolicited diet advice. And teachers, stop letting your students give speeches about anti-fatness and about the obesity epidemic. That's your job, to educate them about why that is harmful. Okay? Okay.
Okay, But here's the thing. There is an obesity epidemic. Yes, there have always been fat people in the world, but the word epidemic means outbreak or plague. That means that the number of obese people in the world has increased a lot, which is why it's an epidemic now and it wasn't 100 years ago. Because now the obesity rates are high enough that it is considered an epidemic. Okay? Okay.
I hate to tell you this, but actively not wanting to be fat is indeed fatphobic. Also, your statement just indicated that people who work out are also people who do not want to be fat. Did you know that fat people work out without wanting to become thin? Did you know that you can work out for reasons other than wanting to change your physical appearance? The fitness and diet industry has absolutely perverted what exercise is and what it is good for, like mental health and cardiovascular health. The industry has brainwashed us into thinking that we can micromanage and control our bodies and exactly what every part of our bodies look like. Sure, you can control your body to some extent, but not through healthy means.
This video wove in and out of sanity so fast, I almost got whiplash. To start out, I do think in today's day and age, we focus too much on exercise for aesthetic reasons instead of health, and that people of any size can exercise. With that being said, we do have control over our bodies, and we can control them in healthy ways. And not wanting to be fat is not fatphobic. It is a natural inclination for humans because we recognize it is unhealthy.
This commenter says, wow, people need to find hobbies. Why do they comment if losing weight makes them so happy? That's the thing. They're all pissed off because they're fucking starving and I dare to not starve myself. And they're just really pissed and bitter and someone needs to give them a hamburger. It's like, just eat a fucking cookie, Jared. It's fine.
The people that criticize the fat acceptance community are not all bitter, starved people that are jealous of happy fat people. People that have lost weight, especially a significant amount of weight, realize better than anyone that, one, weight loss is possible, which goes against one of the core tenets of fat acceptance, and two, they realize how much better their quality of life is now that they've lost weight, and it annoys them that there are people out there trying to convince others that weight loss is impossible or bad because of their own selfish motives.
Why is it that Bo Burnham can talk about being depressed and not showering for 9 days and smelling like shit because all his laundry is dirty and still be immensely attractive and fuckable, but if I talked about that, I would just be seen as a pathetic piece of shit. And that is no shade towards Bo, because I love Bo. I do think he's amazing. But even when talking about depression and mental health, thin privilege is still there. Fat people who are depressed are just told, well, if you would get some exercise and move your body or eat better or blah, 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 you would feel better. I just want people to admit that a fat person who did that would be villainized, and he's lauded as a genius for it.
I think Bo gets away with saying he hasn't showered in days because he's famous, not because he's skinny. And part of the reason people like him is because they think he's relatable, and talking about your depression is relatable. This is the same thing that happens when a celebrity comes out as an addict and they're lauded for their bravery, whereas when a poor person comes out as an addict, they are often shamed for it. So this has more to do with wealth and fame than it does with being skinny or fat.
So we know from a psychology standpoint that bullying is typically rooted in insecurity or jealousy. Personally, whenever I see someone claim that another person is glorifying obesity, I replace that with, you are a happy fat person. But it does make me curious. Are you saying that a person is glorifying obesity because there is an aspect of it that's appealing to you? Is it simply that you cannot learn to love yourself in your body, or even be neutral in your body, that when you see someone happily existing in their body, you do not like this? You need to end this. It isn't fair. Even if it's your subconscious saying this, you think that it's not fair that this fatty can enjoy themselves.
Glorifying obesity is not when a fat person exists happily. Glorifying means to represent something as admirable. And I personally have a problem with obesity being seen as something that is admirable. It isn't. It is debilitating and painful and harmful and should not be represented in a good light. So when people say being overweight isn't a bad thing, or Some people are meant to be over 300 pounds. I consider that glorifying obesity because being fat is not something that should be praised, encouraged, or normalized.
Specific experience within the fat experience that not every fat person experiences, but I don't hear it talked about enough. That is mourning the thin you. I grew up fat. I grew up fat with a thin, beautiful mother. I was on fad diets before I was 10. I had disordered eating. There was this idea in my head of thin me, of waking up one day and just being skinny, or even weird fantasies of like, oh, I got shot in the stomach and the doctors just had to give me liposuction. Weird stuff like that growing up. And I used to struggle really hard, be like, why can't I look like other people? Why can't I get my body to look like pretty girls? I really had to kill that idea. I had to mourn it. I had to accept that they were there and then move past it.
These are the types of videos that show how devastating the fat acceptance movement can be, because it causes people to lose hope in the fact that they can ever lose weight. It sucks that this person was always overweight and they had those horrible dreams and that their parents didn't give them the tools they needed to be healthier, but you were not born to be fat. And that is something that can be changed. But the fat acceptance movement takes that type of hope away from people.